Alright, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, grasshoppers. Test Informant 156. YouTube clips coming soon with reviews of almost every article, hopefully. Let's start with C5 against Shub. My phone is almost dead. Have my grandson in the other room. We'll see what happens. My opponent isn't going to... Can I do this? I've gotten into trouble doing this before. But let's just do it anyway. Maybe I should have played Bishop G4. Let's play Bishop G4 just in case. Let's not let him play H3 if he doesn't have to play H3. Seemingly. Aggressive. Playing the Iron English as black. It's one of Bennick's recommendations against the closed Sicilian with Knight C3, but this isn't entirely a closed Sicilian with Knight C3 in, because the Knight is on D2. This is a system that I struggled against when White played it against me. I would have certain problems. Mainly because with arms wide open.
Alex Yellow
said, "Hi."
With arms wide open. Everything with arms wide open. That's interesting. Should I take and then take? He has bishop to d5 check, but the knight's going to be covering that. Alright, let's just look at this again very, very slowly here. We have queen takes f5, knight to e3, bishop takes f3, knight takes f5, bishop takes d1. We don't get any advantage out of this. Knight takes e7 check. Alright, well, we'll capture first then. And we'll attempt to take advantage of the pin. By Montserrat. So he went on the purely defensive instead of the aggressive. That is fascinating. So he has queen to b7 check, queen to b3 check. Bogoshita. We'll just batten down our hatches just a little bit. I was tempted to play king h8 to get off the file to prevent any escapes by the queen to b3 with check. It also might give me the chance to play. I was fairly certain he was going to play king to g2. And I would have to shove e4. a knight to e5, but I can't shove e4 if he's going to gain time on my knight. Yes, we can. My queen is not trapped yet by bishop g4 because I have a place to go. But now my knight can move and it's not check. We have to guard a little bit of everything now. Unfortunately, I do have to play this move. It's going to take a little bit of extraction. I have to remember that I have 1 minute to his. Well, and now he's threatening my queen. And I'm losing material. Am I losing material? Am I actually losing material? It does look dangerous.
It's a big, big world. It's easy to get lost in it. You've always been my boy, oh, and I'm not ready to call it quits. We can make the sunshine in the moonlight. We can make the gray clouds turn to blue skies.
And I am in trouble. My opponent could be listening to the stream, so I can't give everything. Alex 3000 Elo, how are you? Let me refresh my... I don't know that I heard you, sir. I'm going to refresh my connection to the stream. So now if I attack his queen, he takes my queen, I take, he takes my knight. So this is awkward. But up from here. Now I can attack his queen because I need to break the pin on my rook. And we'll pick up 2 pieces for our rook. We do have some problems on the back rank. That much is not in doubt. From here, my dear, where but up from here. And we have a small threat because he didn't allow me to take the rook with check, and it gives us a chance to come back. There's no threat yet on my g6 pawn. Alright. Do I want his king on e2 for any given reason? Knight. His queen is tied down. My pawn on e5 is pinned. From here, my dear. Now my opponent wants to trade queens. So let's throw in an in-between move to see where the rook goes. Because we don't wish too much on him. And in this manner, he has to choose a square for his rook. And we're going to continue to force him to choose a square for his rook. Where but up from here. From here. And now my bishop is coming alive, yeah? Do I just pretend like he's not bothering me? I believe that's what I have to do. Can we? I think I need to get some squares for my knight. I hope you've had the time of your life. How does he defend the E2 pawn? The F2 pawn? Do we check him? I think we just need to recapture. Alright, now we have a time advantage though. I hope you've had the time of your life. I'm just going to keep the pressure on the pawn on F3. Maybe we'll nurse this to an advantage. Preparing the move E4. Time of your life. Still unapproachable. We now have our rook behind the passed pawn. We're ready to get material back. In just a moment. Oh no. Are you really going to do that to me? Where are you headed, sir? Where are you headed? This is a pawn promotion exercise if there ever were one. Whew. Didn't plan on playing the first game. Nice work, Shub. Oh, we're going to try to get our D4s in, by the way. We'll do a quick inventory of all of our first moves with our GTO strategy. Alex 3000, how have you been, man? Let's see what our opponent's up to here. He likes to play the Caro-Kann with knight f6. So we're just going to stop knight f6 one time. I've played this position many times with and without h6. I don't know how many times I've actually played it on lead chess though. We're going to play it like the French defense. Interesting that he played bishop to b4. In this way. We need to try to get castled, apparently. Well, that helps. As much as I wanted to play pawn takes, we need to unfurl our pieces and get ourselves castled. He doesn't have any queen h4 business. His pawn on d5 is going to be a welcome sight for a bishop on f3. Is he going to help me get my bishop to f3? Possibly. I've played this position at least, well, less than a half a dozen times. Let me just put it that way. Less than a half a dozen times. And my opponents never recapture on d5 with the queen, usually because the bishop's not on b4. But this time my opponent had a chance. My opponent did have a chance to get his easy now. And now we're going after the d5 pawn. Things get a little fancy schmancy here in the effort to go after the d5 pawn. We're going to do some dancing. You make me feel like dancing. Gonna dance the night away. Unfortunately, I had to sack a pawn to get to the d5 pawn. It's kind of a bummer. Is the music too low? Does my keyboard work for the volume? Where's my volume? Oh no, the F3 key does not work. Brings up something in lead chess, so let's try FN F3. Let me know if the music is too loud at any given moment. Is Ujwal Bashin streaming? I think he streams in the evenings for him, which could well be the mornings for me. Well, we're just going to pretend like nothing is wrong. It is unfortunate. I did have the move c4. But my opponent has the move b5. So I'm trying to stop. Oh, I take that back. Had I played c4 to isolate the pawn, that also would have saved my knight. And I was in a very awkward position. He was threatening b5 there to win my knight. But we get to throw in a very interesting move. Queen takes, so we're getting our pawn back, maybe with some interest. It's very awkward, obviously. This was all part of the plan. Once again, my opponent is playing chess without using all of his pieces. Use coordination. So now we do not have an extra pawn because we were down a pawn going into this. Really? Fascinating. Do I have to sack a pawn again? We're going to find out.
I thought I saw a girl brought to life. She was warm, she came around like she was dignified. She showed me what it was to cry. Well, you couldn't be that girl that I adored. You don't seem to know, seem to care what your heart is for. But I don't know her anymore. There's nothing where she used to lie.
So now knight to b7. We're going to challenge the piece that is pinning my knight. Now we have several ways to extract ourselves by attacking the queen. A b4, queen b4, queen c5, rook d8, king h7 does nothing. He does have the useful h6 move. In a previous game that I played in the Atlantic Open, so this is an effort to stop me from freeing myself with queen to d3. Or is it? Where does he go with his bishop? What's going on? Oh no, I'm the one with the weak back rank. It did not work. Queen takes f5, queen takes b4, queen takes f5 did not work. God, it did not work. My weak back rank. My weak back rank. Fortunately for me, knight f6, rook g5. Where are you headed? I'm not going to allow any funny business to happen with check. If I cannot at all help it. Can I go there? You gods, folks. It's getting sketchy. It's getting sketchy. So he's got that, and I need to be able to answer with that. We're going to keep coordinated as best we can. He's got 30 seconds. What can we do to him? Go to G5? I don't know. We're just going to pretend like we're not losing material. How about that? Queen to F3. We need to do something on the back rank. Does he have any checks? Love me like you do. Oh no, love me like you do. He did not see what I was up to. Thankfully, he did not see what I was up to. But my F pawn is no longer pinned. And now, so rook takes check, queen moves. Can I play it that way? Get our pawn moving while we can. Woo! Let's see, how many times have I played that on Lichess? Oh, this position. This position. So here, bishop to f6, takes. How many times have I played this on Lichess in this position? Wow! I have played this position as white 15 times without h6. And I am 67% whether I play 12 games or 3.
Said. GG, sir.
Thank you as well, Bashin. Yes, I've played this position a lot. You had queen takes d5 as well, because of your bishop on b4. That position is not normally available to my opponents. So in this particular position, I realized at the moment that you have queen takes d5. If I play e takes d5, the computer is suggesting that you just don't recapture, which is fascinating because my king is in the center and you have a lead in development. But you also have the opportunity to just play queen takes d5, and I don't have that weakness to play for it. I have not played this particular structure often. So that was probably a good shot for you. Again, you're gaining time here. You're keeping the pressure on my bishop, keeping me from getting castled if my bishop is here. Maybe not because my knight's here. Never mind. Never mind. So in this particular position, I was actually expecting you to play bishop to g4 at some point to try to provoke me to play f3 so that I don't have to move bishop e2, bishop f3. And maybe I should have respected this move a little bit more. And castled. Yes, prepared castling. But I was worried about you forcing me to play f3, but I just have castles. What am I thinking about? Bishop's hanging. And we're back to where I normally am in this position, believe it or not. I have played this position enough times.
Ujbol Bussin.
Said, I never played this line, just improving myself on solid play.
Well, I also never played this line either. We create our own theory, Ujwal. The openings are only the moves of good
Ujbol
players
Bussin.
tested over time.
I apparently missed NE7.
Oh, you missed knight d7, you mean, on mine? You mean at the end or in the beginning? Let's take a look. Yeah, knight d7, rook d8 and knight d7 was fatal.
Ujbol Bussin.
I was going to play rook to
Said,
d8 on rook takes
Sorry,
g5 as well, by the
ND7
way.
in the end.
Yep. No, that was fatal. I'm trying to think if you had something there. I think you could have taken on g5 and given yourself the h6 square. So you had f takes g5 and given yourself the h6 square, but I don't think that helps. Because I'm still threatening to mate you with rook h8. I don't know if I can do something useful with my... Amazingly enough, this position is roughly equal. And this was a very handy move, tactically. So in this position, I blundered. I think you can play queen takes b4. The problem that I have is that after this move, when you play rook to d8 check, you just take. Big problem. I lost a piece in that position if I continued that way. So I lost my pawn. I need a better move in this position. Or do I just trade queens and it's equal? Probably I have to trade queens and it's equal. But I was planning on rook to d8 check.
Said, oh, missed it, was down on time.
Yeah, no, that was a natural because of the weakness of my back rank. I don't think you should have seen. I mean, I saw it immediately after I played it, and I mentioned it on stream, like, oh no, this doesn't work. I think I lost a piece. But I didn't really lose a piece. I lost a pawn. I think I said I lost a pawn. Rook e5. Rook d8. Rook e8. Queen c7.
Good morning.
Yeah, that makes sense. I should go for it right away. I still have the idea of trying to get to that square. Rook to d8, king h7, and knight d7 even. Oh, you always have this move with check. So I wanted to prepare everything. And then you let me capture. You let me play knight to d7, yeah. Good morning, Mr. Tiger. How are you? Are you playing this morning? I hope you are. This is where you got to get in. You've got to get in.
Said,
this is the Dojo Rapid
good.
and Classical. Links are there. Yeah, I've played I've played that position apparently on Lichess and off the board, but I played that position on Lichess 15 times without h6 in. And I got it with h6 in. I was going to take the knight no matter what, so that I could play e4. I do believe in the Versov and the Tory attack because they offer you a wide variety of plans. Unlike the Jobava London, which I think is a very fixed and limited, unfortunate opening. And I'm going to return to my roots here a little bit. The Tory attack helped me become a master. The Tory attack is just a high-level waiting move here to determine whether or not my opponent is going to allow e4. So b6. Bishop to g5. I think I have to play it the same way. And we are off. Knight takes e4. We got our classical pawn center, waiting for that moment as we put our pawns on dark squares. I have to choose where to put my queen. We'll put our queen on a square where, just in case I want to move my knight. Try to prevent any c5 pawn breaks. Wow, he plays it anyway. This is craziness. He played it anyway. With the rook already on the d file, there is trouble brewing. Quite a bit of trouble brewing. We have the d6 square for our queen, for our knight as well. It looks like we've got a great outpost coming up. I put my rook on the d file specifically to put my knight on d6. I don't want him to have a d pawn. Miles away. Miles away. Wow. What is going on here, folks? Can I put my knight on d6? Does it do anything? That is the question. Does putting my knight on d6 do anything? Or do I take the extra pawn? That is the question. Does putting my knight on the d6 square do anything? Or do I just get the e5 square? Should I take the free pawn? My opponent is a very dangerous opponent. He's got a performance rating of 2342. So I'm not going to play too fancy, although knight to d6 was screaming out to me in this position. We now have Ayusha Yoroshina. So now we need to find a way to take advantage of. Let's just do it this way. Batten down the hatches on a2 since he is threatening my a2 pawn. Always be aware of what your opponent's big idea is. So can I play knight to d6? I think I can. Knight to d6, bishop d6, queen d3. Or do we play rook takes knight? Or do we go for the loss of an exchange? We're going to double rooks, bishop a6. Bishop a6 is a little bit of a problem. On the fields and valleys.
Feel her body rise when you kiss her mouth among
I don't know if he wants to tip his hand just yet on what structure he's going for. But I do feel a little overworked, and my rook is only guarded by my queen. Was rook to d4 anything? We're going to get bothered more immediately with e5 there. And we did expect this. But now, when we put our rook on d4, we actually have less of a threat to our pieces. So I do have to be very, very wary and careful that we're not just trading pieces. Position is now very different when he plays e5, because the bishop is on f4. On the fields and valleys. This is also a good time for morning study, to be truthful and honest. Can I ignore him? I feel like I do need to ignore him. Just constantly improving our pieces, not moving the same piece twice, not allowing a bishop to bother our rook. And now for something completely different. What's guarding that bishop? The weak back rank, is that what's guarding our bishop?
Tell you how much I love you on this very special day. You're beautiful in every way.
The weak back rank is less weak than we thought it was.
I know I throw a couple tantrums, but you still love me like no problem. I don't know how you do it, being a mom of 3 kids. It's amazing. You're so amazing. It's so incredible the things you do for me. It's so incredible, you inspire me.
And now for something completely different. e5. I mean, we could pick off a pawn if we wanted to, but there are greater dangers to my back rank, and winning this bishop back is one of them. So far, the theme of the weak back rank has loomed large. Now I think we want to trade queens. And we want to have bishops of opposite colors, right?
Just like her, she's the bestest friend I've ever had. Ain't nobody love me like she can. She gives me a shoulder that I can lean on.
We do have some issues going on over here that we do have to watch out for. Can we try? Yeah, we'll try. What's the worst that could happen against a 2405, right? What's the worst that could happen against a 2405? Well, that's interesting. He zugged me. He appears to have zugged me. I'm in the square of the pawn. He's got two outside pass pawns. Let's not let him have two outside pass pawns. Looks like I only have a draw. How rude. That is so rude. He's a good player.
Set F4.
He could play F4 indeed, but I play king to F1. This is the awkwardness that is. I drew it with the move b5. Wow, 3 extra pawns. He's a good player. He's definitely a good player. Let's go back and see how we flubbed that endgame. That was just such a nice, easy, technically winning endgame. Note, Mr. Tiger, that there's no reason. But I'm in the square of the pawn as well. He does have F4, but I mean, I'm going to get my knight to G3 either way. Don't I just play knight F3? I mean king F3 to prevent F4. H2, king G2, F3 check, king H1. Then I play knight G3 and the game is still a draw. No one has ever played this position, but on Lee Chess, no one has ever played this position either. So let's just see how this goes. So I'm up a piece, and I did not win it. How rude, right? Queen to G6. Even this position did not change the assessment. It thought everything I did was correct. I have to just improve my king position. Play knight F4 check. And I knew that B5 was my lemon. Knight to G3. Oh, A5. Giving him only one square to try to stop the pawn on. So when I played B5, he put me into a spot of Zugzwang. King D3 was probably even more problematic, but Bishop C5 seemed efficient enough. And there's no win anymore. Say, lovey. Said enough. We're trying to catch up to our Caro-Cans. We've played so many Caro-Cans that we're going to stay with the Sicilian for the time being. I have to admit that knight F6 is certainly possibly more effective. This is the Mark Arnold opening, by the way. Grandmaster Mark Arnold and I Played the c3 Sicilian with queen f3 against this as well. But now white has no development, and his performance rating being below. Unfortunately, I have a dark squared bishop, so I have to be very wary of putting pieces on dark squares and not allowing knight takes e5, rook e1, and d4. Well, he made me do it. I've said enough. That's me in the corner. This. Yeah, let's batten down the hatches on our queenside pawns while we're at it. Does me to my knees. So he has a very bizarre backward pawn on d2. And it's worth a piece. Takes. Is he winning a pawn out of this deal, or is it the same? Alright, fascinating move. I like it. I have to go this way.
That was just a dream. That was just a dream. That's me in the corner. That's me in
The spotlight, losing my religion, trying to keep up with you, and I still know what I'm doing. I can't believe I lost a piece out of that deal. Wow. We're gonna have to work for a living, folks. We are going to have to work for a living. Just a dream, just a dream. Can't let him pin us. Looking at some pressure along this file, if at all possible.
Time is clicking, but I'm stagnant in the place you left me. I can barely see the face I fell in love with. It's a memory, a day or two, a month, a year. It's all the same. You've been gone, and all you left is pain. You took
Rook to
me
d2.
and left me with a broken home. Walked away without a single tear. Your heart so cold, and I hate that I still think about the way you made me feel. It's a memory.
Alrighty then.
It's easy to say that I hate
Need
you.
to
It's hard
give
to say
everything
that I
to
miss you.
you.
If only I'd make this
Alright, we have to think about this.
easier said than done. You stole my laughter, you killed my happy, gave you my heart, and all you left me were lies. You made me cry too many times to forget. You're not a memory, you're just a regret. I was captured by your words, and now I only wish that I want the other.
So we're no longer down a piece, but we are down a pawn, to say the least. Wow, he didn't take the pawn.
Easy to say that I hate you.
That's craziness.
To say that I If only you'd make this change. It's easier said than done.
So what is the threat? Knight b5? Knight d4? My happy. Where is the knight going? So 5 to 5. My opponent didn't take on e5 and stay up a pawn. We do need what's going on here? What is that sound? We have the sound of we could have a YouTube strike if in the background. The knight is not as strong as the king in the endgame. My rook doesn't have
said. Does
the best
multi-stream
possible.
helps to grow faster?
So he's got knight f5 if needed. Did I lose a pawn? Possibly, I lost a pawn. But I'm hoping for more. Wow. Rook to g5, won a pawn. And where is he going after? So e4, knight e5, rook to f5. He does not have knight to d3 check. Just going to pretend like this is all part of the plan. All part of the plan, folks. It's all part of the plan. And now for something completely different. Just going to continue trying to restrict the knight. Oh, he gets away? What? He gets away? So let me just do this here. Is this decisive, though? I don't think he gets away, but it looks like he might try to get away. He has knight e4 check. So we do have to throw this check in first. And then he doesn't have knight e4 check. Whoa, was that possible? That was not what I was expecting. Well, that's a bummer. That is very much a bummer. E3 was a little hasty on my part. So now, a rook check. Where's the knight going?
That should be our intro for Sunday morning. Happy Sunday morning. This week, Tony is going to take the lead, and Tony is going to play some Tony Rice for you guys. What do we got here, Tony?
We're going to do Church Street Blues off of Church Street Blues. And I have a new pickup on my guitar too, so we're going to try that out. We don't normally
That's a
go
bummer.
high on our Sunday mornings, but I got this really great pickup from a guy named Teddy Randazzo, who makes Dazzo pickups out in California.
Inuka Chess and Tips.
You guys should check him out.
Said. Vethera.
Inuka Chess and Tips.
Said. VIP.
I might not be winning this anymore. Can I fool around? We're studying the endgame, by the way. After this, we're studying the endgame. We're looking at the longest possible games. Does it help us to grow faster? That is a question. Takes, takes, takes.
I've been hanging out of town in that low-down
Check, check.
watching Good Time Charlie Brown. It's driving me
Wow, I'm only getting into trouble here.
up on shady Charlotte Street with a good
I am only getting into trouble.
wish I was back home
So there and there. Check, check. So if I play h5, might be picking up the a2 pawn.
along Church Street Blues. Well, I got myself a paper fan, read yesterday's news. I folded up page 21, stuck it in my shoe. Then I gave me a nickel to the poor. Good turn for the
But we can pick up the a2 pawn
up my old billfold and I threw it
in any number of ways.
I got myself a rocking chair to see if I can lose them thin dime, hard time, hell on Church Street Blues.
My king is on an ideal square far away from his knight. Wow.
I wish I had
That's a good move on his part.
some old black diamond brand. String up this old Martin box and go and join some band. But I guess
It is a good move on his part.
I can sing a while. Try to make me a little change and give you folks a smile. And I got myself a rocking chair to see if I can lose them thin dime, hard time, hell on Church Street Blues. Them thin dime, hard time, hell on Church Street Blues.
Yeah, Tony Rice.
I think it was good.
What in the world?
He always looks fabulous.
I have to go this way?
Tuba Girl 022 is sitting over there, and she just called us obnoxious.
Can I keep him out? That's so strange. He's still not getting in, by the way. You're still not getting in. Well, he made the commitment. First, a word from our sponsor. Then no more checks. Fastest. Just need to get closer. Wow. What a game to recover from. I was dead lost. Stop fooling around, John. Your end games are good. They're just not great. Brrr! My end games are good for my level. That is how I got here, after all. My old nemesis, Ariel Zamora. How are we standing? I'm up 11 to 5, which basically means he is +6. Let's get it to +7. What? Okay. Alright, this time we will take with the queen. Because we're gaining time. So 4 to 3 and 3 to 2. It's Cadillacs and hillbilly music. So I promised myself that I would go for this difference in position, but I don't want to give him an extra pawn in the center. So therein lies the tail. I don't want to give him an extra pawn in the center. Guitars and Cadillacs and hillbilly music. Bro. I shouldn't castle, but it's the fastest way to get a rook to d8. Hanging on. Thing that keeps me hanging on. It's the only thing that keeps me hanging on. Guitars and Cadillacs and hillbilly music. He does have a great night. That much is true. This is an old classic, Alibi by Bistrian. So now, what do I wish to do? Just looking for good squares for all of our pieces, that's all. He does have me here. I don't really wish to give up the bishop pair. My king is out of the game. It's very annoying that my king is out of the game. But we do have more pawn weaknesses. We do want to get the rooks off the board, and we want to keep the bishop versus the knight. Yeah, it's very annoying. Very annoying that I did that. I should have played bishop e5 when I had the chance. Need to get my 4 to 3 moving on the queen side. On the king side, I mean. I was expecting him. To fully embrace the worse endgame with c5 check, but doesn't want a king to not have space. Space is one of the three major advantages, and it tells greatly in the endgame whether you are closer in the possibilities of, well, good intentions. I was expecting a knight move. Very strange. No closer, please. You got it. You got it. You got it. I want it. So where is he going? Well, he has c2. c2, b4. Do I want to simplify on this side of the board? It's keeping my king from getting space, but we do have an extra pawn. Let's get these pawns moving. Because we can win this game on the king side with the extra pawn on the queen side. The power of the outside passed pawn. We're going to have to create a passed pawn. He's got knight to b3 check. Okay, fair enough. Whoa! That was totally unexpected. Denied. Let it shine. Yeah, I win on the king side with the bishop. The extra bishop. He should have moved toward the pawn. He really needed to move toward the pawn. So the game that I won the previous round, my opponent tried to win the game in a totally equal position. And in this particular line, d takes c5, wow. So now we have a plus, not quite pawn advantage for the duration here. And then we throw it away. How do we throw it away? We throw it away through a series of inaccurate moves. h5. See, to me, this is a blunder. Anything, I wish we could set our own settings as to what a blunder is. If a move gives away a half of a pawn, to me it should be a blunder, not a full pawn. So he is negative 1.1 here. And I should play b5. This was the plan. I was going to play b5. And keep his stuff from expanding on that side of the board. Yeah, I can see that. Right, like the 4th of July. You gotta love the piece trap here, with rook d2, bishop d5, g4. It's not such a great or real piece trap because we have bishop takes d4, rook takes a2, and then my bishop has to move, and then he takes on a6. So that's no good. I really need to use the facilities. So was c5 check good for him? That is the question. Yeah, he had to play c5 check here. This is what I was expecting, and when he didn't play c5 check here, we get to lock down on something of a clear advantage. I could get everything rolling on that side of the board, it's true. But I like my pleasant position here. That was a blunder. Just got to increase our advantage. And that was a really serious blunder, and he's down a run. Alright. Tiger, good morning, sir. This is the way to play. Got to put all of your effort into it and save your... Let's see if he's learned, for the most part. Has he learned? I'm going to throw a wrench in the works. That is exactly correct. That's really rude, sir. I have to take. And I'm going to put my knight on a4. And start chipping away at the center if I can. He didn't try queen a4, a5 check with the original idea of going for the win of a piece. He also had bishop takes c5, queen a5 check, and queen takes c5. Up until now. He's got a good position, though. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this. This is why it's important to learn queen-pawn openings with white. I am playing a Chigorin reversed. And before I moved my e3 pawn, my pawn to e3, he had a chance at b5. C takes b3, a takes b3, and my knight is in the lurch on that side of the board as well. That is one of the main lines. Basically, with the pawn still on e2, he had b5. I am forced to play c takes b6, and after a takes b6, this knight does suffer a little bit on the side of the board. I end up having to make moves such as b3 and knight to b2. Well, as much as I want to play, let's just keep developing. So this looks like it should be weak. But more than likely it's not. We're going to see what happens now. Yai. What does he have? Does he have knight a5 with a double attack on my knight and bishop and pawn? Or does he have knight takes d4? Or does he have queen e7? Let's just root for him to find the right moves. I am rooting for him to find the right moves. I'm up a pawn. This is Grandmaster Mike Rhodes' great reservation against playing terrace style openings with black against d4. I'm not getting the e5 square. And now, if only my bishop were not hanging on c4, d4, d6 would actually work. Can I play it this way? Let's go this way. Threatening to win a piece. Oh, and he might have let me.
Desperate for changing, starving for truth.
Was it not winning a piece?
Closer to where I started, chasing
After you.
I'm
My knight is hanging, my bishop is hanging. But I do get to take on e7 first.
I'm standing here until you make me move.
This game is totally equal and my king should not be in the center.
Forgetting all I'm lacking, completely incomplete.
He always has queen a5 check.
I'll take your invitation.
I love my...
You take all of me now.
No, I don't. He captured the wrong way. He should have taken on a4 first. I do have some serious problems, though, with my king in the center. Wow, if he'd taken on a4 first, I was probably in greater trouble. He didn't keep my king in the center. I fell for that trick, by the way, myself, and that's how I learned it. Let's fight for the open file. This rook keeping the a2 pawn under wraps. And there's a weak back rank, folks. He's pinned. Bishop is much easier to relocate. The knight will take 2 moves to get to this square. e7 is off the table because of knight to f5 check. And e8 is off the table because of knight to f5 as well. Keeping these pawns at home. This knight has these squares. Time to improve our king. And decide how we're going after that one. I'm afraid he zugged himself. Zugzwang, ladies and gentlemen. I can't get there from here. But I mean, I can take it at any time. I should have taken. Now I have to actually walk all the way over there? You gods.
See, my old man's got a problem. Live with a bottle, that's the way it is. He says his body's too old for working. His body's too young to look like his. My mom went off and left him. She wanted more from life than he could give. I said somebody's got to take care of him. So I quit.
Can I win this without that? No, I have to take it, unfortunately. It's a good zugzwang position to know with the king stuck here. If I could have a pawn on h5, it would be the same thing. Or if I could fix one of his pawns on h5, it would be the same thing. Well, maybe not quite. Driving in my car. How many times have I played Tiger A? That was only our second game. That was definitely the best game. He had to play bishop takes a4 first, and then knight takes. Would that have worked? Don't tell me I got a full point buy. Wow. People are dropping off like flies. We might not make it to 9 rounds. Let's go back for just a moment and look at what exactly transpired in this opening. So for example, knight a4 is better than knight 2. And I had a student playing this opening. And unfortunately, I did not introduce them to the Chigorin's defense. And it is one of the great regrets of my life. Because they were 4.5 out of 6 or 4.5 out of 7 with a 2300 or 2250 performance rating when they played this game, and when they lost this game it kind of broke them. So e5 is best. What? It says e5 is best. Or is e5 the move that was played and queen a5 check should have been played? c3. And the other move that I'm talking about in this position, which is b5. Let's take a quick peek at the engine here. b5 is what I know to be the best. As far as the main line, if colors were reversed. So for example, for those of you who don't see this opening very often, usually white is a move up in this position. So white has maybe knight f3. And after d takes c4, d5, knight a5, b4 is part of the action. However, queen a4 checks c6, bishop to d2, b6, bishop a5, ba5 is better. So now that we've gotten the Chigorin defense out of the way for both sides, you have to know your openings inside and out. Yeah, I should have just played bishop e2. Because bishop e7 and castles runs into d4, d5, and it's a much easier win for me that way. So, after this particular position, I finally noticed that I have the idea I should play knight to b6 indeed. And then play d4, d5. I still feel like my knight bishop f4 is good, so rook a7. Oh, you take on c5. That's right. That's why I couldn't play that. That's why I thought I couldn't play that, but it's a clear advantage for me. So here, takes, here, bishop takes a4. And I'm not as winning as it appears to be, because the c4 bishop is hanging. And I think I was planning on castling here. So if I take on e7, Black has queen takes d1, if they would like. But the c5 pawn is hanging, the e7 pawn is hanging. Do I have a desperado here with rook takes it, bishop takes f7? ba4, queen a5 check threatens to escape with bishop d8, but these two pawns are just too strong. You want me to take. So after b, a4, queen a5 check, bishop d2, it seems even more problematic. Doesn't make sense. Queen takes c5. Yeah, we were correct. H5 is probably just as well as good. But I mean, there's no escape. They want me to play.
I mean, that's got to be the one, right? That was dope. Leaves and everything.
All in all, a relatively good game. So does Ujwal Bash... I don't know that multi-streaming helps me grow faster, Ujwal. I really do not know that, to answer your question matter-of-factly. I was thinking about it for some time. So my opponent, let's give Ujwal Bashin a quick shout out for the questions and the contributions to chat. By the way, all of the streams are powered by chat. The more vocal you are, the more questions you ask, the better student you are, the more you get out of the stream and out of your learning. I'm going for facilities and coffee. Can't believe my grandson is so calm and peaceful downstairs. He's like Mr. Independent. So, I'll be back. Let's put it on intermission mode here and see how the... I haven't used intermission in a while, so the stream title is awkward. So let's move the stream title over so that it's not quite bleeding into at least. The currently waiting. There we go. That's fair enough. Actually, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not. Personal favorite room, bathroom break stream clip that I ever saw. It wasn't very serious, of course. It was a very, very popular female streamer. takes a bathroom break, and you can hear that her roommate did not put the seat down, because when she takes the bathroom break, you can hear the seat slam down with a muttering under the breath as she exits stage left to go to the bathroom. So let's see, how did Tiger A do this round? Not a bad performance, though. Tough opponents. This is where you aspire to be, and this is where you really do want to be in these, all of these games. Yes, Bubby, Anakin. I am working right now. You have to come up here. You have to come up. Keep watching these games. There's one game left. Just in case I take longer, I'm going to pop out for a moment. Just in case I take longer, and we are not on intermission. I will be right back. Let me check on the grandson. I'm coming. I heard the urgency in your voice. My grandson is watching a Mega Projects or something along those lines video on the Japan Mega Train on YouTube. He is soaking up knowledge faster than anyone can ever imagine. I think I accidentally stopped the music. I apologize. So this is a good line to know. H3 is not necessary. What we have to do in these particular positions, we're going to play C takes B5 and bishop to C4. And maybe even queen to B3. Sorry, queen to B3. If I can draw lines to save my life. So, queen to B3 is recommended by the computer. It is the main line. I also like the move C takes D5 first, followed by queen to B3 or bishop C4, depending on how it goes. Black usually sacrifices this pawn for 8 or 9 moves, give or take, until white has to push it back but give it up on the d6 square. So, for example, I'm going to look at this line here for a moment. C takes d5 castles. This happens no matter what. Bishop e2, the idea is to play bishop f3, knight on g to e2, castles, and rook e1. And possibly knight f4, knight e3, knight d3, knight e5 if needed. So let's look at black's moves. So we follow along our plan. This is the main line. Robert Hess has white versus Yasser Seirawan. Nice draw, sir. Turn off our intermission since we're back. Grandson is taken care of. Well, it's better that I got the full point by rather than Tiger A. That much is true. How many players are left? Only 15 on a Saturday. It seems crazy that we only have 15 on a Saturday. I've been plugging away on Instagram, Threads, I'm the same username on everything, by the way, so if you do check out my socials, and if you have not yet subscribed to the YouTube, this is your chance. Anuka Chess and Tips, by the way, how are you doing? Vithara VIP? VL Mercy.
I let it fall, my heart, and as it fell, you rose to claim it. It was dark, and I was over, until you kissed my lips and just saved me. My hands, they're strong, but my knees.
You know you're already old when you are referred to as an ageless maestro. This is fatal, actually. This is death-defyingly fatal. I think this is the only move, and we're about to be mated. With a brief stop on F5. VMD chess. I guess that's one way to do it. Screaming out your name, your name. Queen to E7. Queen to F7, continuing the mate threat. Forever. No, this was the right move. H takes G, threatening mate on a different square. There was almost no stopping. Queen H7. Queen H7, Queen G7, and Rook anywhere. So black has gotten down with being a... I mean, white has gotten down away with only being a piece ahead. Screaming out your name. And the mating nut could be interrupted by Rook takes E7 is forced in order to keep the game going, but somehow I'm 1.5 against. I've only gotten a draw against Bahuzbalat. This is a chance to pick up some more important tips and strategic. Oh, we didn't get a chance to play him. I wonder if I would have dropped out if we could have gotten one more round out of it. It's possible that if I had dropped out, I would have gotten one more round out of it. But the only way that you become better is by playing against players of this type on a regular basis, because in your normal over-the-board tournaments, you're not going to play against players of this stature. In your average under 1600, under 1400, under 1800, or even under 2000, you're going to play against players that you will beat with all the tools that you learn against the opponents that you see here, which is somewhat critical. And if Mr. Tiger was paying attention to that line that I showed earlier, which was somewhat important, I think it was this one. Yeah, basically this is the main line. I tend to prefer C takes D5 because black doesn't usually take back right away. H3 is not a chess move. So this arrow means that that is what they play. Queen to B3 is what is recommended. I imagine that I can turn off the variation arrows if I had to. Not sure what inline notation means. Oh, means that it's like a... What I would like is a score sheet option. I would like to have all of the moves in a score sheet fashion up there without seeing... Or is that what we have already? Let's take a quick peek if we turn off inline notation. I guess we already do have a score sheet option, but it just doesn't look like a score sheet. Yeah, we lost our pawn on d4. We didn't really see that three things were attacking it. So in this particular position, right about here, c takes d5 could well be forced. It's okay to have an isolated pawn, by the way. Isolated pawns are our friends.
Matthew
said.
Uh-oh.
Hi.
So I actually have a half an hour before my lesson starts. Is that quite crazy or what? Matthew Thomas, Rachel, how are you, man? La la. La la. So let's see how Tiger A fared for the day. He did invest
Matthew
29
Thomas.
rating points into his
Said.
improvement.
Came after long time, sir.
I understand completely. I know some people are wondering where those voices are coming from, but it is possible. The chat on YouTube, and because I
Matthew
can't
Thomas.
watch both streams
Said.
chat at the
I
same
am saying
time so
about
easily.
myself.
Indeed. But yeah, I know. I haven't seen you in a few days. I do not have... Unfortunately, I do not have the... I need something to weight down this page. The opening in mind. Starting out with 1e4 or attacking with 1e4 by Neil MacDonald, I think is the book, where he gives 3 simple lines against 3 different Panov defenses, whether it's e6 or g6. And I would love to go over those while we're here. So, for example, in this particular position, we went for the 9 magic
Matthew
moves,
Thomas.
unfortunately, and we lost our
Said.
pawn.
My main account was not opening.
Oh, I hate when that
Matthew
happens.
Thomas.
Said. Rishal Matthew.
I'm afraid.
Said.
And the annoying thing is, I'm afraid, how are you? Besides being afraid.
Matthew Thomas.
Said. So I
Yeah,
made
what's the
new.
opponent's big idea is very important here.
I'm afraid.
Said. Where are you from?
I am from, well, originally, heritage-wise, parents-wise, Eastern and Western Europe. As obvious by my name, my father's name is Scottish. If it were MC, it would be Irish. But my mother's side, it was along the Prussian border of Hungary, Poland, Czechoslovakia, and I don't necessarily know much about their roots, unfortunately, and I've never bothered to look it up. But in the United States, on the other hand, I'll throw up a quick about and an EXP for the screen. I was born in Denver, Colorado. played chess all across the United States in my early days. Had a good set of friends to travel with. It is good to have a playing partner.
Said. I am from Russia too.
Ah, but I said Prussia. I'm not entirely sure what the difference is between Prussia. Hey Alexa, what is the difference between Prussia and Russia?
This might answer your question. Prussia was a German state located on most
Matthew
of the North
Thomas
European plain, also
Said.
occupying southern
I had
and
forgotten
eastern
to
regions.
update Chrome.
It formed the German
Ah.
Empire when it united the German states in 1871.
So yeah, Prussia was closer to Germany, and that is basically the German states. That German Empire area, which basically almost encompassed most of Central Europe east of France.
Matthew Thomas.
Said. So I was not able to open my main account.
Yeah, there's a little symbol in the top right hand corner that requires you to update Chrome every now and then in order for me to synchronize my bookmarks and whatnot. So going back, the three main lines here, we have the G6 line, we have the E6 line, and we have the Knight C6 line. These are the three prevalent lines. Against Knight C6, I do like the endgame line playing into this because it helped me become a master. The endgame line is very entertaining. And I did have a recipe for this at one time, and I'm trying to recall what it is. I'm not entirely sure that it didn't involve Queen C2 or Queen E2 early, but it's possible that this line is all good. I don't think it was Queen E2 in this position. But keeping the queens on the board with white having a less safe king is not necessarily that easy. So I will look it up again. It was a DVD produced by ChessBase with recommendations by Sir Heinrich Danielson, a Danish grandmaster living in Iceland. And it's extremely hard to win either side of this game. So therefore, if you're not in the mood to play the endgame variation with knight f3, bishop g4, then you need to play bishop to g5, which is the slightly more aggressive approach. It's the same approach that Botvinnik himself used.
Heading out.
Matthew Thomas.
Said. Any
So-
symbol today?
Before you go, Mr. Tiger,
Matthew
against
Thomas.
this particular line, I
Said.
still prefer bishop to
Are you going to
g5.
join a titled arena? Are you going
And
to join a titled arena?
I have a lesson in 20 minutes, unfortunately. Or fortunately, depending on how you look at it. I actually prefer queen takes e5, g takes h4, but the computer
Matthew
doesn't like
Thomas.
this line. But I've played this many
Said.
times with white, and it's just as difficult for black to play. I could play the title arena. Okay, so before Mr. Tiger goes, the last variation that we need to talk about, instead of g6 and instead of knight c6, is e6. This is Karpov's favorite line, and this one transposes across many Queen's Gambits, London openings, and Caro-Cans of all sorts. Nimzo Indians with bishop to b4, for example. After knight f3, bishop to b4, this now becomes a Nimzo Indian. And often the Vienna variations as well. So in general, I've tended to hold off on the move c takes d5 in favor of bishop to d3. Just because I like the prospects offered by the isolated pawn and less counterplay. Judith Polgar, on the other hand, prefers c takes d5. And after knight takes d5, bishop d2, you reach positions that are very interesting where white will have possibly two hanging pawns on c3 and d4. So, in order to prepare for my lesson and take a smidgen of time off,
Said. Okay.
Thank you for chiming in, Mr. Tiger. Have a great rest of
Matthew
your day.
Thomas.
Said.
You can always go through these lines yourselves. Yeah, do you have a recommendation on where we should go from here? Anna Cramling? She is playing street chess in London. I don't know where she is, but it looks very entertaining. I've not been able to raid her before with so few viewers, so therefore chances are with only 2 to 5 viewers it may not be worth it to even try to raid. Chess24 does not give any shout outs. However, Lila Karitzi is just now starting, and she is always pleasant, friendly, and nice. So we're going to head over there to Lily's channel. Thank you all for being here. I hope everybody joins the raid and that we have more than 3 heading over, because I see 5 possible viewers. Thank you so much.
Matthew Thomas.
Said. This is the link.
I will check it out. Oh, I see. That's the problem. I will have to check it out a little bit off stream, since I only see the links on YouTube. I don't see it in my Streamlabs, unfortunately.
I sometimes see you pass outside my door.
Thank you, everyone. Cheers and ciao. Ujwal Bashin, thank you for being here.
Matthew Thomas.
Said. Okay, sir.
I'll check out the link for Levitov Chess and the World Junior as well in our time.